Today we're going to be talking about 8 physical and mental aspects of the wide receiver position that you want to avoid if you want to be a great receiver. Now the first thing you want to avoid is early hands on a deep ball. So let's say I'm on the left side of the field, I'm running a fade, quarterback's over here, he throws this over the top. I have a defender who's right on my hip, you guys. If I'm running and I'm showing my hands early like this, I'm letting that defender know exactly where to punch his hands through as soon as he sees that football. So guys, trust your eyes. We want to catch the ball chest level and be late with my hands. So ball's thrown over the top, I want to be late. So as soon as that ball hit my hands, DB has less time to react and I can put this thing right to the tuck to secure that catch. So do not be early if that ball keeps you in stride. If it's underthrown, yes, go back and get it. But if it keeps you in stride, be late and trust those eyes. Now the next physical aspect that you want to avoid is at the top of the route. Let's say I'm running like a 12 back to 10 yard curl, quarterback's over here to my left. I don't want to get up to 12, you guys, and beat the drum. You should avoid beating the drum. What does that exactly mean? That means when you get to the break point, you have your hands and your feet chopped super fast. That is not what slows you down at the top of the break, you guys. What slows you down is your hip drop. You want to keep your hands natural. You don't want something called dead hands, and we're going to talk about that later, but you don't want to do unnecessary movement with your hands because that will create unnecessary movement with your feet. You want to trust your hips. Your hips drop you and your hands just run to keep your feet active, but you don't waste time by taking unnecessary steps at the top of the break. Now also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver or quarterback and would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're coming out to 15 different locations across the country this year for 2-day long QB and wide receiver camps. So guys, check out that very first link in the description below if you would like to attend. We're coming out to San Francisco, California, Orlando, Florida, Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Chicago, Illinois. Then we'll be heading out to Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Nevada. Then we'll be coming out to Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boise, Idaho, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, and Los Angeles, California. So guys, very first link in that description below. We had to turn away a lot of people last year because all of our camps sold out very, very quick. So make sure if you want to attend, you get your spot. Very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, another thing that wide receivers should avoid at the top of the route, and this will be one of the last physical things that we'll go over, and now we'll get into the mental side of the game. But physically, top of the break, let's say I'm running a curl again. I don't want to have dead hands. I briefly mentioned this in the last clip, but when I go up into this break, I don't want my hands to go dead. A lot of receivers think that, oh, if my hands go dead, that's going to help me stop. And yes, it will. But when your hands die, your feet also die, and then it's going to be harder to re-accelerate out of the break, you guys. So the rule of thumb with your hands, with your feet at the top of the break, trust your hips and keep your hands natural. You just want to run into the break and run out of the break. You just need some type of movement, but it should stay fluid. Now, the next thing wide receivers should avoid is being predictable with their releases. So if I come up to the line of scrimmage, says yellow line is my line of scrimmage, quarterback is to my left, let's say I have a DB who's inside shade press. If I have a different release for every single route that I run in my route tree, that is very predictable. You want to pair your releases together. So what do I mean by that? So let's say anytime you run a fade route, you do the same release. You do a split and then you give like a little move inside. Then let's say anytime that you run a post route, you do just like a simple jab step and then go, right? You have a different one for every single route that you run. That's predictable, guys, because smart DBs, what do? They watch film. They study what we're doing. And if they see you start to do a release and the only time you do that is on a specific route, they're going to read you like a book, especially as the game goes on. So you need to pair your releases together. So let's say when I run a fade route, I do like this like hesitation skip release, as I call it. So I come off here, DB's inside shade, I skip and then I take off and go. Now what I could do, let's say maybe I got to run a slant. He's inside shade press. I do this skip, 1, 2, 3. I put the brakes on and slip back underneath him. Maybe if I have a guy who's in front of me and I got to run like a post or a dig, I do this skip, I throw a move outside, and then I go back to the inside. All 3 of those releases look the exact same at the starting point, and that's what will make you unpredictable as a wide receiver. So avoid having different releases for every single thing that you do. Now, the next thing you want to avoid as a receiver is only playing one position. So if you only play wide receiver, you are limiting the amount of opportunities that you have to make big plays. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you probably want to take football further than the level that you're playing at right now. Let's say you're in high school, you probably want to play in college, right? So college coaches, when they look for receivers, when they're scouting receivers, they want explosive playmakers. So let's say you're in a situation where your offense is like 60-40 pass run. So that means 40% of the time, guys, you are not involved in an offensive play that will quote unquote make you a highlight. Yes, you can block, and we're going to talk about blocking later on in this video, but guys, you need to play multiple spots on the field so you can make plays. What if you're in an offense that's 80% run, 20% pass? You're only as good as what your offense is and how good your quarterback is. So you're going to give yourself more opportunities to make plays by playing special teams, return kicks, return punts, get on punt, get on like field goal block, play any type of special teams that you can, and try to get some defensive reps, because if you can showcase that you make highlights, you're an explosive playmaker, trust me, coaches will know that you're more of a receiver, that you're a true receiver, but just showcase that you can make plays, do not limit yourself. Now, the next thing you want to avoid as a wide receiver, and we briefly mentioned it, is not blocking. I think a lot of wide receivers are very lazy in the run game. They want to catch touchdowns. That's the stigma around receivers, that they're not like, you know, the most like team guys, right? Like, I don't think that's true, but that's the stigma around it, right? That we're only going to run hard or do our job when we have a chance to get the ball and score a touchdown. Guys, blocking is one of the best things that you could do to create highlights for yourself. If you can consistently put a DB on his ass and knock him over, make a great block for your running back, those are opportunities and plays for you to showcase on your film, and your film is what gets you recruited in a college coach's eyes. So make sure, fellas, you are blocking. Do not shy away from blocking. And also, if you're a younger receiver and maybe you're not starting on varsity, or maybe you're not getting much play time, blocking is a great way for you to get on the field, because at the end of the day, it's all effort when it comes down to blocking. Now, fellas, if you are a wide receiver and you would like myself to take a look at your film and construct a custom workout plan tailored to your game and the weaknesses of your game, check out that second link in the description below for our custom workout plan service. Essentially what it'll be is, if you're a receiver, you can get films of you practicing, training on a field like this, game clips, whatever. We give you instructions of what to send and how to send it in, but you would send it to me. I would provide you with like a 10 to 12 minute voiceover breakdown of, okay, you need to improve here, you need to improve there, and then I will construct a complete custom workout plan for you to do to improve those aspects of your game. And that plan will contain field workouts and gym workouts. So guys, check out that second link in the description below if you're interested in that. Now, the next thing you want to avoid as a wide receiver is not practicing with your quarterback. So I think as a receiver, we're only as good as our quarterback. I get a lot of complaints from receivers, like not about myself, but just about their situation of like, hey, I'm not getting the ball, I'm open, but my quarterback doesn't throw me the ball, my quarterback's not that talented. What can I do in those situations? Guys, you got to work with your quarterback. You should spend probably 30 minutes after every practice with your quarterback, just running routes versus air. If you guys don't play special teams, you guys should go down to the opposite end zone during special teams periods and work on your timing. And you should train with that guy on the weekends. Maybe he has a quarterback coach. You should offer like, hey, do you want me to come out and catch? Generally, that's usually free for wide receivers, but it helps you build chemistry with your QB. Because if he's not getting you the ball, he probably doesn't trust you. Now, you obviously have to improve areas of your game. If you're dropping every pass or not getting open, then that's kind of on you. But if you feel like you're open, you feel like you're a good receiver, work with your quarterback. You need to spend extra time with him, not just the time slotted at practice. Now, the next thing you want to avoid as a receiver, guys, is not studying your playbook. But everybody knows to study their playbook, but as a receiver, you should know every receiver's job and what they are doing on each passing and run play. Why do I say that? Because, I mean, here's the thing about receivers, guys. Like, I get a lot of people that will say like, well, coach, I'm not starting, should I transfer? Or coach, I'm not starting, why am I not starting? Like, if you're a receiver, guys, and you're not starting, chances are, there are probably aspects of your game that you're not good at, and you're maybe just not as talented, but like there are 4 receiver spots. Like, you have 2 outside receivers and you have 2 slot receivers. If you're not starting on the outside, there might be a chance for you to start in the slot. But I know a lot of players that only know, oh, well, I only know X, or I only know Z, I don't know the slot positions. Guys, you should know every single receiver position, because you never know when you might get an opportunity to play somewhere. Like, if let's say you're a backup, and let's say you're sitting behind 2 seniors and they're both outside receivers, but you know you're good, and there are 2 slot receivers that are maybe sophomores, juniors, and one of them gets injured, but you only know the 2 outside positions, you're not going to get on the field, and you might miss an opportunity. So guys, when you're studying your playbook, study everybody's job, not just your specific position's job.